Hello everybody and welcome to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for a brand new league debut right here. This is the USANZ Racing League, and they are having a pre-season practice race here for their first ever season, and we have the exclusive broadcast rights right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. I'm your commentator, Corey Steinhauser, and it's time to get stuck into the action. I've got a lot of new faces, a lot of new names that we haven't seen before, and this should be an exciting little prospect for us here to be able to broadcast a second league. And we've got quite a few drivers of some noteworthiness here, including Rachel Hunt from Florida, currently our top-seeded driver in the 16 car, sitting in the pits at the moment. With the breast cancer awareness ribbon on the side of the car. It looks absolutely amazing. Currently, P2 is Alexander Russell in the 36 car. Oh, 38 car, sorry. And it's not a little bad looking little rig either. We've got the 27 of Blake. Mads. I'm going to have to work on that one, definitely, for sure. Behind him, we are going to have the 00 car of Gareth Anderson. Now, Gareth is actually the guy who started up this league and got me involved in this league. He put his hand up and said, "Hey, I know a guy that could do broadcasting," and here we are. Next up in the 5th position at the moment, the 78 car of Chuck Mobley, currently sitting in the pits there. Nice little burnout as he's on his way out. After him in the 6th position, we are going to have Ken MacArthur in the 97 car. This isn't just new names and faces for you to learn, it's new names and faces for me to learn. And that's not a bad looking rig there either. In 7th at the moment is going to be the 34 car of Russell Arnold. The Ally 34. That thing looks like a tank. Not a bad looking rig either. Next is a car that we can't see. It's the 24 of Gregory Harris. There's the 16 of Hunter Lovelady. We've got the 23 car in here of Jason L. McQuinn. Jason, a Florida man. After him in the 11th position, we have the 19 car of Eric Thompson, currently in the pits. Also in the pits is Ryan Cahill. He's in the 48 car. We also have the 20 car of Adam Walker, currently in the pits. 21 of Christopher Davies is not in the server, or at least out of his car completely. And Brian Britt is currently in 15th in the 5 car. He's also got his car actually in the garage. We've got the 59 car of Bruce Rivers, who is on track, and he's just put himself up into 14th in front of Christopher and Brian. And currently the 17th position is the 09 car of Bradley Moxie, who has just had a incident. Not sure what his incident was, but he had an incident. So that is the 19 cars that are currently in on this practice session. Strength of field is a 1607. So 8 minutes in the practice here, and then we're going to go on to qualifying and then on to the race. Got a couple of new things that we've been playing around with to differentiate the two leagues from each other. We will see a little bit of sim racing apps, but it's only going to be a little thing. For the rest of it, we're actually using Race Labs apps. And it's the first time that I've used it in a broadcasting perspective, so be interesting to see how the Race Labs apps holds up. As the 59 of Bruce Rivers gets it all wrong in turn 4, slams straight into the wall. And that is a very loose looking front bumper and a very smashed crab looking hood. Now on screen we have the 20 car of Adam Walker. And quickly we go to Ken MacArthur in the 97. I'm just going to see if I can change something for me here. That will work perfectly. Now there's a 00 Gareth Anderson, currently P6 in the standings with a 30.589. Doing what he can to try and improve on his time here. And it doesn't look like he was able. The 20 car of Adam Walker getting a little bit loose coming off turn 2 there. Eric Thompson in the 19 starting to come back out on track now. As it looks like we only have about 5 minutes left in this practice session now. 80 minutes of practice these guys had, and you're seeing the last 15 minutes of it. I'm swiping things away on my phone that I shouldn't be swiping away. Because why not? As it looks like most people are in towards the pit area now. Still a couple of cars on track. Looks like Eric Thompson, Adam Walker, Bruce Rivers are on track. Everyone else in the pits. Oh, the 59 car, Bruce Rivers, getting it wrong coming out of the pits, actually. Straight into that inside wall. That is an ouchie spot. Here is a 20 car of Adam Walker. Milwaukee sponsorship on the rear quarters. The 19 of Eric Thompson now on screen. He's currently P11. Here comes the 21 car. That's Christopher Davies. Looks like we're only going to have 17 people to tackle this race. There goes Eric Thompson on the inside of Adam Walker. Adam just trying to log some laps. Currently down in 13th with a 30.779. Quite a fair bit off the pace of the leaders here. See if he can improve in this last couple of minutes. Everyone I think's that's on track is doing qualifying runs. See what Eric can do here. Well, Eric only does a 32.022. 20 of Adam Walker. Unable to improve on his time either. As we enter the last half minute, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will be setting the grid here for the USANZ preseason practice round here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright, we're back, and we are actually in the middle of some qualifying here. I didn't realize that we were doing some group qualifying. I'm so used to us doing single car qualifying that bit of a shock to see that we're doing this one. Anyway, at the moment, Rachel Hunt has secured herself top spot. And promptly pulls it back into the pits. And she don't need to do no more for the moment. She goes in, toes, gets a new set, and here she comes again. Getting ready to take it on. Rachel, a 47.52 I rating. Absolutely incredible. Strength of field at the moment with the 17 drivers is a 16.07. Which is not bad. Current P2 is Gregory Harris. You can see Ken MacArthur there in a 97 car, sitting in third. The 24 of Harris comes into the pits. He's going to get a new set and he's going to go back out again. Driving it back to the pits so that way the fuel that he used doesn't get re-added automatically into the car. Smart thinking there. As here comes Jason McQuinn out onto the track in the 23 car. Currently has not got a time set, so let's keep an eye on him and see what he will do here. He's got Ken MacArthur there in the 2 car just behind him, putting some pressure on. Hunt, McQuinn, Harris, Mobley, Thompson, Davies, Rivers, and Cahill at the moment. Only 8 who have laid down laps. McQuinn's first lap is good enough for P6. 0.43 of a second off of the time set by Rachel Hunt. Oh, big loose out of turn 4 there. Turn 2 actually, sorry. That's going to ruin Jason's run. But P6 at the moment, still not bad. So he did just tow to the pits. I would have driven back myself. Now let's see if iRacing will catch up and start looking at other people who are actually on the track. And there we go. Onto the 16 car of Rachel Hunt. Current provisional P1. Let's see what she can do here in qualifying. As I'm going to lock it onto her car. Smooth through turns 1 and 2. Using all the exit out of turn 2. Using all the entry in 3. What time can she set here? It's a 30.409, so slightly slower than her best. What can she do on a second lap? Still keeping a very smooth, consistent line here. Oh, and that's a wall hit. That is going to ruin her second lap. That's unfortunate for Rachel. That was looking like a real red-hot cracker of a lap. As we get some of the other drivers coming out onto track now. But there's one that we haven't seen lay down a lap yet. It's the 27 car of Blake Madtez. He's just done his warm-up lap. Let's see what he can do. He's running slightly high here on his first lap. Maybe just looking for a little bit of safety. Maybe just a little bit extra time to warm up those tyres for his second lap. Use a little bit of the momentum coming off the corners. Gain as much speed as you can down the straight. His first lap. P10. 0.657 off the lead. It's a 31.053. Oh, I'm not sure if he hit the wall there. That was very close. Let's see what he can do here. And it's good enough for P2. 0.026 of a second off the time set by Rachel Hunt. The 34 of Russell Arnold. Arnold is on the track. See what he can do in his Ally Chevrolet. He's only got his out lap in the books. And in the final 10 seconds of qualifying now, what's he going to do on his first lap? Will he get enough time for a second? I think he just made it in time to start his second lap. Currently P6. He almost timed that perfectly. Second lap. And he is going to remain in P6 with a slower time on his second lap there. So now it is time for us to set the grid here. So starting off the pole is going to be Rachel Hunt from Florida. P2 will be Blake Madtez from Florida as well. Chuck Mobley out of P3. Ken MacArthur out of 4. Gregory Harris out of 5th. P6 will be Russell Arnold. Gareth Anderson out of 17th. Out of 7th, sorry. Eric Thompson out of 8th. Jason McQuinn out of 9th. Alexander Russell out of P10. Bruce Rivers out of 11th. I'm getting a little bit tongue-tied. It's early in the morning. I've only had half a coffee. So Bruce Rivers out of 11th. Christopher Davies out of 12th. Ryan Charles? Yeah, Ryan Charles out of 13th. Adam Walk out of 14th. Bradley Moxley out of 15th. Brian Britt out of 16th. And Hunter Lovelady will be starting out of the 17th position. as the drivers start making their way to the track now. Here we go, the pace car is off. We'll get a little bit of a wider view of the cars as they make their way through to turn number 1 now. I know things aren't looking great as far as everything being set up goes here, but this was put together in just a couple hours this morning. I had to do a lot of rushing around trying to find some themes and stuff like that to get going. As this field of cars gets paraded down and around. Looks like we're only going to actually have 15 here to take the green flag. Brian Britt and Hunter Lovelady not currently on track. Pace car is in and we are off and racing. For this 150 lap race, Rachel Hunt taking the early lead at the moment over the 27 of Blake Madtez. Everyone looking like they're kind of getting themselves sorted out. No one's really making too much moves or fuss. Now let's jump on the rear bumper camera of Rachel here. Have a look at the pack behind her. Everyone's kind of single filed out a little bit here. We bring up the standings. Rachel already with quite the substantial gap over P2. In fact, she's already almost outside of the draft range. As now we're going to go on board with the 78 car, have a look outside of his gyro cam at the action going on ahead. There's the nationwide car of Blake Madtez. We need to tell someone in production to make sure they oil the gyro cams. She's looking a little bit stiff in her movements right now. Apparently they just want to play around with the camera. There's Chuck there. Chuck Mobley, ladies and gentlemen. Chuck, give us a wave. Oh wait, he's busy. see quite a few gaps starting to form here on the track as we've got a battle back down the pack there just a little bit. Pretty sure that's got the 21 car and the 23 car there. There's Christopher Davies and Jason McQuinn battling it out for the 10th position. We have a look at the battle screen in the bottom left, the head-to-head. See Gareth Anderson pulling away from these two. Now Christopher Davies starting to pull away from McQuinn. And they have actually changed position. So I was just doing a little bit of readjusting on my end there. Now McQuinn pulling away from Christopher. Gonna try and make his way towards the front of this pack. Going back up towards our leaders now. Blake Madtez is catching up to Rachel. See if Rachel can hold him off. If you guys want to see a really inspiring story, I strongly suggest you go to Rachel Hunt's profile here on iRacing and have a read what she's going through and the fact that she can still race and very quickly is truly awe-inspiring. And you know, I'm actually glad that I get to call a race that has Rachel in it, because of how much I respect her and her ability. I mean, even without what she's got going on, you know, she's a damn quick driver, and she's not afraid to show it. And at the moment, she's kicking all these boys' asses. Anyway, back to the race. Blake is right on her tail now. Could be looking at a change for the lead here shortly. Not sure how well Rachel was saving her tyres. I guess we'll find out here shortly. As now Blake goes for the move to the inside and Rachel lets him clear her and then switches him back. Can she get the run back on the inside? Not quite this time. But she does it in 1 and 2. Can she get him cleared? I don't think she's quite got him cleared. No, they're still door to door. Epic battle going on here for the lead. And now Rachel gets him cleared and takes the lead back away. Rachel with the fastest lap of the race at the moment. A 1:30 seconds, .484. Blah, 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 blah. Getting my tongue twisted here. So that is going to put Blake back into the second position. As we go back to a slightly longer shot. You see there in the bottom left, it will show the 2 sectors that these drivers have on the track. When the box goes red, that means that Rachel's lost time to Blake. When it stays green, Rachel has either gone even with him or pulled slightly away from him. And Gregory Harris in the 24 car starting to catch up to these two now. Been a little bit quiet there back in third, as Rachel just lost a tenth in that second sector there on the track. Let's jump on board with the 24 into his gyro cam. Have a look at what's going on here. Gregory is definitely closing in on Blake and Rachel. It was a tenth better than both of them on the last lap. Now that he's caught right up to them, he's starting to break a little bit even with them. He gained a little bit in 1 and 2. And he lost the same amount in 3 and 4. So he is pegging even with him. He's gaining all of his time in 1 and 2. Losing it in 3 and 4 though. You want to be careful of that apron. Wouldn't want to get caught up in it. Let's have a look at what the BattleBot says in the head-to-head. They gained a tenth on Rachel, and he was even with Gregory on that lap. This is for Blake. This is our top 3 battle. And he was even with Rachel in the second sector, and a tenth better than Blake. The 10th better than Gregory, sorry. Oh, and Blake just got into the wall a little bit on the exit of turn 2. He lost a tenth to both of them. Hopefully that was just a little bit of a tap. But I think he might have been a little bit adversely affected. Lost a lot of time to Rachel now. Blake has actually gained a little bit on Gregory. So Gregory might have gotten the wall as well. As we are 22 laps into this 150 lap race. Haven't had a single caution yet so far. And he is just continuing to lose time now. Running very high on the track. Gregory's going to start catching Blake if he's not careful. As you can see there, Rachel pulled out to nearly a 0.8 of a second gap over Blake. See, that gap will update every half lap. or so. It'll be constantly changing throughout the lap, is what I'm trying to say. As it looks like we might have lost Bradley Moxie 4 laps ago. Not sure what happened to Bradley, but he is OUT out of the race. As the leaders are starting to catch up to a little bit of lap traffic. The first one on their list is going to be the 20 of Adam Walker. He'll be coming into their sights in a not too distant future. At the moment, the leader's still lapping around at about 32.9s. So high 32s, low 33s. And our current 14th place driver doing 34.5s. So he's losing about a second and a half per lap to the leaders. Then we also got the possibility of pit stops coming up here shortly. And we have a battle for 4th. I didn't even see that unfolding. The 34 and the 24. Here comes Russell Arnold. And he takes 3rd place away from Gregory Harris. Didn't even see him catching up to him. That was a very quick and easy move made. Now Russell going to make a charge towards Blake and Rachel. Let's see what he can do. He gained on Blake that time to the tune of about 0.2. Another 0.2 this lap as well, and a 1/10 to Rachel. As Rachel is starting to catch up to Adam now. Let's have a look at the back of Adam's car as Rachel comes up on his inside. Gyro cam very quickly. There she goes. Adam makes that very easy for Rachel. Here comes the 27 now of Blake going around him very easily. Blake doing a great job making it very easy for the leaders to get around him. As now the leaders are starting to catch up to the 21 car. Oh! Adam into the fence in turn 3. I think he is very struggling for tire grip right now. A little bit of damage on that right front. As we go back to focusing on our leaders now. And Russell Arnold has closed up the gap big time to the 27 of Blake Madtez. To the tune of 0.3 of a second in the last lap. Lost a little bit there as they came across the line. See what he can do on this lap. He gained 0.2 in the first half of the lap. What can he gain here in the second half? taking a much tighter exit, and he broke even on the second half of that lap. As Christopher Davis in the 21 car has come into the pits for his fresh set of tires and some fuel. And we're just about going to have a battle for P2 here. Russell is right on the tail of Blake now. In fact, let's jump on with the gyro cam here in Russell's car. One of the loudest camera angles we got. Just because I like being a little bit of a dick. To the 27 of Blake Madtez there on the outside line. And here goes the move. Russell trying to get it coming off of turn 2. Not going to have it. Got a couple of cars going slow there on the apron. Not sure what was going on, whether they'll come into the pits or not. Pretty sure that was Charles and Rivers though. In fact, it was AR just coming to the pits, I do believe. Got a couple of cars coming out of the pits. So it looks like we've got between a 35 to maybe a 42 lap run here before cars have to pit. Russell Arnold starting to fall back a little bit here. He's got to recompose himself, he's got to cool the tyres back down, and then he's got to get back after it and try and get that move to work on Blake again. Running a much lower line through turn 1 and 2. Go have a look at his driver's suit. Oh, he's got an American flag Star Spangled Banner helmet. As the 20 car with fresh tyres comes up underneath him. That's Adam Walker. All these cars with fresher tyres are going to start taking the advantage of those fresh tyres as Russell goes very high. Cleared the throttle just in time to not hit the wall. And it looks like the battle is about to be on here again. As Ken MacArthur now comes into the pits. Blake flirting with that pit turn 2 exit wall. Russell now underneath him. Can he take second place away? He's got the move half made here. I think he'll take the advantage into turn 1. We'll have to wait and see. And he does, he clears him. That's Russell now into P2, Blake down into 3rd. And we only have 9 cars on the lead lap due to pit stops. 8 cars on the lead lap now due to pit stops. Like Alexander Russell was in the pits for a long time now, gone 4 laps down. a 70.4 second stop. Christopher Davies, an 82.1 second stop. They're both 4 laps down, so they must have had a little bit of a barney at some point in the race. As we're seeing more and more cars starting to pop out in front of our leaders with the fresher tyres. Russell Arnold, who says old tyres are slow, taking the very high line there. I think these guys are going to try and stretch this out to lap 50, try and make this a 3-stop race. Rachel Hunt as well, our leader, still out on track as well. She's going to have these lap cars coming around her outside here. And she, I think, is actually coming into the pits this time. Yes, she is. So are the other two of Russell and Blake. Where's Gareth in the 00 car? What's he doing? He's continuing on for another lap here. We also have Jason McQuinn, who's just coming into the pits. And Eric Thompson, who I do believe has stayed out as well. So my earlier prediction was wrong. Rachel, Russell and Blake, I thought were all going to stay out and try and make it to lap 50. That is not the case, as Gareth now stays out for another lap. I think the other leaders realised they were just losing too much time. As now Blake becomes the first car a lap down. Russell and Rachel came out in front of Gareth, so they maintain their lead lap positions. Just one car left to stop now as Eric Thompson comes in this time. Gareth, our leader, still on track in the 00 car. Flirting with that turn 1 wall as he was letting the 27 car of Blake go past. Gareth still staying out on track, getting ever so close to that wall. He is on the very edge of disaster up there. As here's Eric Thompson just coming out of the pits now. Just behind Gareth. And he's going to swing around the outside. I think Gareth's coming in this time. Gareth not quite able to make it all the way to lap 50. And this is going to give the lead of the race back to the 16 of Rachel Hunt, who has a huge lead over the 34 of Russell Arnold. So now that we've gotten through the pit stop cycles, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be going to the next pit stop cycle. So stay tuned, guys. Alrighty, we are back and live Rachel still in the lead of this race, and she is absolutely schooling everyone in this race. She's got herself a 3.4 second gap, as there's almost a little bit of Barney behind her with Charlin Rivers. These guys were racing very hard with each other just then, and it almost turned into disaster. As here comes Russell Arnold to break up proceedings here between these two. We're going to set iRacing to focus on crashes, and we'll talk about whatever we can see. On track right now we have Jason McQuinn and Gareth Anderson. These guys battling it out for the 7th position. Now we go to Russell Arnold, who's just disposed of Ryan Charles. Bruce Rivers in the 59. He's sitting in 10th. He's got Blake Madtez coming up behind him. Gonna have to ask Blake how to pronounce his last name properly so I don't fucking butcher it, and that's my one for the broadcast. Blake's sitting in 3rd at the moment, just ever so slightly catching up to Russell Arnold and Rachel Hunt here a little bit. As he goes to the inside of Ryan Charles. Here is Ryan Charles now, the lap car. Just got overtaken by Blake. Back onto Blake. Got to be quick when you've got it set to the iRacing defaults. Here's Gareth battling it out with Ken MacArthur. Going to the inside. We're going to stick onto this battle for a little bit here. Gareth makes that move look very easy indeed. And in fact he should, because he's got 8 lap fresher tyres than Ken. He's still 24 seconds off the lead of the race though. But he is edging ever so closer. He's pulling out the same kind of times per lap as what Russell and Blake are doing. Although that time he was 6 tenths faster than 2nd and 3rd, 7 tenths faster than Rachel, a full second faster than Chuck Mobley in 5th. So Gareth Anderson is on a charge right now. Somebody else on a charge is only 7.8 seconds behind him, and that is the 16 of Rachel Hunt. Still lapping in the low 32 second time bracket. And she is just driving this thing smooth as silk. She gained 1/10 of a second over Russell on this first half of the lap. Let's see what she can do over the second half. And it looks like she lost 0.1 in the second half, so she is dead even with Russell right now on times. Rachel can actually just chill here for a little bit, you know, save her tires, save her fuel a little bit, you know, just slow up the pace ever so slightly. She's got a 3.8 second gap, nearly 4 second gap. She doesn't need to be pushing so hard. You know, she can just take it nice and easy, save her stuff. Make it last a little bit longer, maybe try and, you know, have better tyres for the end of the run, so that way when they do catch her, you know, there's nothing that they can do about it because she's got fresher tyres. Let's go back to going through everything. And we're on the 19 of Eric Thompson, who is the first car a lap down. Just getting around Ryan Charles and Christopher Davies. He's got a 10 lap fresher tyres than Charles. And much more than that fresher than Christopher. About 13, 14 lap fresher tyres than Christopher. As we're now looking at Ryan Charles. He's just losing some time to Eric Thompson every lap. But he's gaining over Bruce Rivers, who is actually in the 11th position. And he's actually a fair way back behind these guys is Bruce. And it looks like Rachel's actually starting to extend her gap a little bit here. Just having a quick little squiz. She gained a 10th on the last lap. Her gap's back out to about 4 seconds. She's catching up to the lapped car there of Ken MacArthur. He's not a lap down yet, but he will be very shortly. 4 lap fresher tyres than Ken. 3 if you include the fact that he's almost a lap down. Rachel's just absolutely pulling away with it. There she goes up on the inside, making that a very easy move indeed. 5 seconds up the road is going to be the next car on her list. The 7th place 23 car of Jason McQuinn. And Rachel truly in her element here, being the highest I-rating driver in this field at a 47.52, A-Class 4.99. And now she's starting to lose a little bit of time to Russell Arnold behind her. But as I said, she might be throttling it back a little bit. Although I don't think she is. She's not the kind that does it by half measures. She won't slow down just because. Rachel comfortably out to a 3.7 second lead over Russell, who very shortly is going to have to deal with Ken MacArthur, the lapped car. First car a lap down at the moment is Ken. Let's say iRace and decide where we're going to look. Right now we're looking at the 48 of Ryan Charles. Currently P10. Now we're up to Jason McQuinn. I saw Adam Walker and Bruce Rivers at a 20 in the 59. 11th and 12th. Not sure what's happened to them, but I think they now bridge the gap between Rachel and Jason. They do. I think Jason might have overtaken the both of them. Last lap, Rachel pegging even with Russell for lap time. She's still faster than Blake and Gregory. But now she's on the back of lap traffic again. To the inside of Adam Walker she goes. Makes that move very easy. Adam actually getting up into the wall to allow her free passage. As we're getting ever closer to the halfway point of this race. Next on the list is the 59 of Bruce Rivers in the Toyota. Camry v Camry here. Bruce is going to go to the low line, which makes Rachel go high. She's going to lose a lot of time because of the high line there. I think Bruce actually struggling with tire grip very badly there. Getting a little bit of the wiggles going through turns 3 and 4. Rachel makes a very quick work of him though, but she does lose 3/10 on the last 2 laps. So all up, she lost 6/10 there. The 3.2 second gap back to Russell now. Next person on the list again, 3.5 seconds up the road is Jason McQuinn. See what Rachel does on this lap. And she breaks even with Russell this time. Russell dealing with a little bit of the lap traffic himself. He's starting to catch up to Ken MacArthur there in the 97 car. It was just 0.03 of a second difference on that last lap between our first and second place drivers in favour of Rachel. It looks like they've broken even again. 0.04 of a second in favour of Russell. The fastest time for that last lap was Blake Madtez, 32.848. Rachel's starting to gain a little bit more of a gap now as Russell had to deal with that lapped car. The top 4 are within 10 seconds of each other. Then 5th, 6th and 7th likewise within 10 seconds of each other. As we are well past halfway now. Some of these drivers will be starting to get ready to take their second stops here, as Bruce Rivers and Adam Walker do take their next stops. Ken MacArthur has already come into the pits as well. Rachel gained 0.2 of a second on that last lap. On this one, she lost a tenth. Bruce with a really long stop, and same with Ken. 24.7 seconds for Bruce, 18.5 for Ken. Adam with a 14.8 second stop. Ryan Charles is in the pits now as well, as Rachel gets around the 21 car of Christopher Davies. Oh no! Right in front of Rachel, the 59 car of Bruce Rivers. And she's going to have a little bit of damage from that. Look at her front end. The car is not driving. Her bumper has come off. Let's have a look at what unfolded there. See the 59 Coca-Cola car coming to turn one. He's got a little bit of damage himself. Getting up close and personal with the wall. And this lap, you can see he's loose coming in. He's already got the full right lock on the car. Oh, overcorrects it straight into the wall. All four wheels off the ground. Rachel checking up, thinking he was going to come down the track. He keeps it up high. Rachel nowhere to go. Straight into his right rear with her left front. And that is a lot of damage on the front of Rachel's car. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, and unfortunately, Rachel very unlucky in this circumstance. So while we're under caution, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be just about getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Alright, we are back live, and as you can see, Rachel has gotten her car fixed. The crew worked very hard and got the work all completed within a thousandth of a second. So Rachel, not so worse for wear, still in the lead of this race, and still with a really good looking car. As some of the lap cars come into the pits this time. I think the 19 of Eric Thompson was the lucky dog. So he got his lap back. Looks like we're going to get a couple drivers there to get wave rounds. That's going to be Ken MacArthur and Adam Walker. It's going to put Ken 1 lap down and Adam 3 laps down. They did both just come into the pits a couple laps before that caution flag wove. So our order for the restart, while we're still sitting here under 2 to go, is going to be Rachel Hunt, Russell Arnold, Blake Madtez, Gregory Harris, Chuck Mobley, Gareth Anderson, Jason McQuinn, Eric Thompson. Those are your lead lap cars. Only 8 cars on the lead lap. Ken MacArthur, the only car 1 lap down. Ryan Child, the only car 2 laps down. Adam Walker, the only car 3 laps down. Christopher Davies, the only car 4 laps down. And Blake Rivers, the only car 5 laps down. And he's in the pits at the moment. He's getting a lot of repairs done. Been in there for 140 seconds at the moment. Alexander Russell and Bradley Moxley, OUT, out of the race. Not sure what happened to Russell. Alexander Russell, that is. But yeah, he is out of the race, 37 laps down. As we start to get back into 2x2 formation. We do have the 1 to green now. We're going to have 64 laps left of racing when we get the green flag here. And Bruce Rivers, I'm pretty sure, is going to be in the pits for a long time here. The pace car goes in. Rachel with a big early jump.
Go. Green flag.
Going to go out to a massive lead. And Blake Madtez, who started in P3, is going to convert that into a second position as they're coming into turn 1. Russell Arnold not having any of it, trying to battle back on the inside with a little bit of a switchback maneuver. They're side by side going down the back straight into turn 3. Right behind them also, Gregory Harris on the outside line. Here comes Blake Madtez. We also got Chuck Mobley making an appearance here in the top 5. Trying to stay up with these 4 cars. Rachel already out to a half a second gap. Chuck has now made his way into 4th. Gregory down to 5th. P6 is right on his tail as well. That's Gareth Anderson in the 00 car. Close, hard, fast racing for the minor placings here. As Rachel has already extended the gap out to 0.9 of a second. It's almost out to a full second at this stage in the race. We're going to continue to have a look at Blake here. In fact, we're going to go... I was going to say... out of his bumper, but Russell Arnold almost looking like he was going to make a move there. Let's do it. We're going to go out of Blake's bumper right now. See the 34 car there. Trying to line up that inside move. Not going to be too fortuitous with it this time. As I saw in the background there, Gareth Anderson starting to make some moves. He's trying to get himself up into the 5th position. Go back to the outside view, see if he's got it made or not. Not quite, still sitting there in P6. Getting right on the tail of the 24 car of Gregory Harris. Now he's going to look at the inside. Not going to do it this time. Gregory shuts the door, says not this time, Gareth. Coming out turn 2. Gareth getting not a bad run coming off the corner. But Gregory with the momentum of the outside line. Shuts the door on Gareth again. But he runs a little bit wide and maybe went a little bit too deep into the corner. This could be the opportunity Gareth needs, but it's not quite going to be. We're pack racing here at Atlanta at the moment. That's if you don't have a look at the gap that Rachel has over the rest of the field. She's out to over a second gap now between herself and Blake. As these guys are starting to calm down a little bit here in the 2nd through 6th positions. Great, we'll make that the 2nd through 7th positions because Jason McQuinn right on the tail of Gareth as well. 24 of Gregory trying to look like he was going to make a move on Chuck Mobley. Will he be able to get the move made is going to be the question. Looks to the inside, nothing doing there at the moment. Very hard track to make passes is Atlanta. Now here comes Gareth, he's looking to the inside in turn 3. He's just not going to get his nose there, slips back up to the seam. Chuck Mobley, very cool, calm and calculated at the moment, just running his line to perfection. Because he knows that Gregory is going to have his hands full of Gareth. Here comes Gareth now to the inside, it's not going to work out on him. In fact, here comes Jason McQuinn now to the outside of Gareth Anderson. Can he make the outside line work? The answer is not this time. But damn, did that look promising. There's now Jason losing a lot of time to Gareth. Lost 0.4 of a second that last lap. Going to continue to look at the 24 car here of Gregory Harris. What can Harris do? He's looking to the inside of Mobley. Mobley pushes up high. This could be the advantage that Harris needs. Not quite this time. Mobley using the momentum of that outside line to stay ahead. But he can only do that for so long. The tyres will burn out very quickly if he continues to do that. The low line around Atlanta is the best place to save your tyres. As Gareth starts experimenting with alternate dimensions. This could also be the advantage that Gareth needs if he can get to the outside of the 24 car. He can't make the inside move work. Maybe the outside will be the way to go. But here he comes, a 24 car. Gregory Harris to the inside of Mobley. Crosses the line in front of him. So he's going to get scored as the 4th position for that lap. And he makes the move stick going into turn 1. That's going to be Harris up to the 4th. Mobley down to 5th. Now Mobley is going to have to deal with Anderson. Anderson's very aggressive, especially here on the restart, with everyone being so tightly packed together. And Gareth's going to be under attack himself from the 23 car of McQuinn. And Jason McQuinn's going to get the move made coming off of turn 2. It's going to be Gareth down to 7th. McQuinn up into 6th now. As we're going to go back to the front of the pack with the 16 car of Rachel Hunt, because Blake Madtez is coming, and coming quickly to her. She lost 0.2 of a second that last lap to him. Bring up the sector times. Oh, Madtez getting into the wall a little bit there, coming off of turn 2. Doesn't look like it's affected his car at all. It's only a little scrape. No damage on Madtez's car. They broke even on that lap. Now Rachel's going to start pulling away again here. Gained 0.3 in the first sector of that lap. Gained another 1 in the second half of the lap. I think Madtez is going to be under attack from Arnold. Here comes that 34 car. In fact, let's have a look at this battle from the back of the 16 machine. There he goes to the inside. Not going to get the move made there in 1 and 2. Pulls back in behind Blake. What can Russell do to get around Blake here? He's looking low. He's getting the clean air into his nose. Getting the grip that he needs to try and make the inside line work. And both of these guys working together here a little bit. They started to catch up to Rachel. Oh, as Blake goes very wide coming out of turn 2, getting a little bit tight, almost getting into the wall again. Here comes Russell now with the inside line. He's got the move made. They come across the line. Great racing by both those drivers. We're going to go back and have a look at these two now. Madtez will not want to let this be the way that this battle ends. He's going to want to try and get back around Gregory as quickly as he can. But he's looking very tight in the corners. Maybe that little bit of a wall scraping he did earlier really did actually affect the car a little bit here. He's not picking too much time up on Russell. Rachel now starting to become under attack from the 34 of Russell. He's just been chipping away at her ever so slightly as the laps go by. Only a 0.4 of a second lead. 0.5 of a second as they come across the line. They break even. Rachel lost her 10th in that first half of the lap. Oh, and Gareth Anderson's gone a lap down. He only pitted 6 laps ago. I'm not sure what happened there for Gareth. Oh! As Blake slams the wall coming off of turn 2. Sorry, Russell slammed the wall coming off of turn 2. Blake now retakes that second position. And this has just opened up the gap massively for Rachel Hunt. Go and have a look at that 34 car, see if he's got any damage on the automobile. Doesn't look like he's got any damage. Let's take a little bit of a closer look. But maybe it's just a little bit of a push in on that right front. You know, it's just a little bit out of shape over there. Nothing too terribly bad. But it definitely looked like a pretty solid hit. You see all the marbles on the car there, both the left side and the front. We go back to our wider shot. We're already starting to encounter lap traffic as Adam Walker now goes another lap down. Jason McQuinn in the 23 car coming into the pits. Oh, Adam Walker in the 20 car going up very high. Everyone coming into the pits now. Only 34 laps into this run. Let's go and have a look at this 20 car, see what he's up to. Because he was getting into that wall a lot. He's got a lot of damage on the right side of that Mustang. We go back to the 16 car. Good stop into a box. Maybe a little bit shallow, actually. So that's going to affect her pit time here. As Eric Thompson is in P2. Gregory Harris in the lead, but Gregory's coming to the pits this time. I think Eric has also come into the pits this time. Rachel's going to remain in the lead. Gareth Anderson, with the undercut, has actually taken the lead of this race. He got onto the fresher tyres earlier. and he is in the lead right now. And he's got about 11 seconds, no, 1.2 seconds over Rachel. As the 97 car of Ken MacArthur trying to battle with Gareth a little bit here. MacArthur gets around Gareth. Gareth with 14 lap old tyres at this stage in the race. I'm trying to get a decent read on the gap here. But the gap is about 5.5 seconds. Let's bring up the head-to-head bot here. Let's have a look at how much time Gareth is losing compared to Rachel. .7 seconds on that last lap. Rachel with a 30.450 compared to Gareth with a 32.152. So Gareth is losing time in spades here. Lost another 7/10 of a second the first half of that lap. Another 0.9 in the second half. So it's another 1.7 second loss there. .9 of a second in the first half of this lap now. Rachel is closing this gap, and she is closing it quickly. She is going to be right on his tail this lap. So let's have a look from inside her car as she catches up to him. Oh, there he goes. And we cannot see him no more. As the camera became a little bit loose there and went to the wrong spot. And there's Rachel. Give us a wave, Rachel. Oh wait, she's busy. So that's Rachel Hunt now back into the lead. Gareth Anderson. He's going to have a big fight on his hands here with these other guys coming up behind him now. Blake in the 27 car, only 2 seconds behind Gareth. Gareth lost 1.3 to him on this last lap. Bring up the battle bot again so we can see how much of a lead Rachel's gaining over him and how much Blake is catching him. Oh, and Gareth is experimenting with alternate dimensions, trying to take an advantage, so we're just going to switch off of him and go to Blake, who is right behind him now. And Russell's there as well. Gareth taking the high line to allow them an easy passage on the low side. Because Gareth is racing, but, you know, he's not a dick. So Blake now back into P2, Russell Arnold back into P3, Gareth is in 4th, and he's going to be continuing to tumble down the order here a little bit, I would suspect. Maybe he was hoping for a quick caution after a few laps, so that way, you know, he could pit for some freshies and remain at the front of the pack. That's not the way it's going to work out for him this time. And Rachel Hunt doing an absolutely amazing job, out to a 5-second lead over the second place of Blake Madtez. As there she goes past Ken MacArthur in the 97 car. He's in the 8th position, 2 laps down. We have no one that is actually 1 lap down. Ken is the first car a lap down, but he's 2 laps down. But even if we were to get a caution, he would only get one of those back. Rachel now still gaining more time on the guys behind. Although the time for the last lap would not suggest so. She's lost. She's actually starting to lose time, actually. My apologies. She lost 3/10 on that last lap. On this lap, just got to wait for it because there is a fair bit of a gap. She lost another 2/10. Back to Blake in second. We're going to let iRacing decide where we're going to look. Actually, no, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll either be going to the next pit stops or the next caution, whichever one's going to appear first. So make sure you stay tuned. Alrighty, we are back live and exclusive here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the debut of the new league, USANZ, here on iRacing. Rachel Hunt still leading the way. As you can see there in the bottom left corner in the head-to-head, just losing time ever so slightly to the 27 of Blake Madtez there in second. And this is just a little pre-season warm-up race, so the results of this race don't really matter too much, but these guys have been absolutely turning up the action for us here. 7 cars on the lead lap. We did originally have 17 cars, but only 15 took the green flag. Got 3 retirements in Bradley Moxey, Alexander Russell and Bruce Rivers. We've got 2 cars 4 laps down in Walker and Davies, and 3 cars 2 laps down with MacArthur, Harris and Charles. And everyone else, so Rachel, Blake, Russell, Jason, Chuck, Gareth and Eric Thompson are all the cars on the lead lap in order from 1st to 7th. So we're going to set iRacing to focus on crashes and have a look at where we are at for action. There's Gareth Anderson on screen, the 00. Here's Russell Arnold now, currently the 3rd place driver. And he is trying to close in on Blake Matez there in front of him in 2nd. This is a battle that's been stirring the entire race. Whenever these guys get anywhere near close to each other, they have an epic battle, and one or both of them end up hitting the wall coming out of turn 2 at least once. Now we're looking at the 4th and 5th place battle. This is Jason McQuinn and Chuck Mobley. No, we're going to go back to the 4th and 5th place battle. Stuff you iRacing. Oh, it looks like Mobley struggling a little bit with the demonic portals that he's been playing around with. But he's still going to try and make the move to the inside of McQuinn. And he's almost got the move completely made. Can he get it finished coming off of turn 2? Or will McQuinn have the advantage? No. Mobley gets the move made. But here comes the fight back from McQuinn. Back to the inside. And back into 4th goes McQuinn. Mobley going to try and battle back here in turns of 1 and 2 again. Because of all the rubber build up on the cars. Isn't that fantastic? These drivers battling it out pretty hard here at the moment. Who's going to take the advantage out of these two? As we are on lap 140 of 150, so we're going to have just about 10 laps remaining in this race. Everyone on a fairly short run here. We're officially at 10 to go this time. So it looks like Mobley not going to be able to fight back against McQuinn. McQuinn pulling away from him a little bit here. So we're going to go back into this battle for 2nd and 3rd, and we're going to open up the radio waves because I can see them both lighting up the radio channels. Let's hear what they're talking about.
And
just as I go to them, they stop talking. Of course. At the moment, Blake Metez over Russell Arnold has the advantage as they go to the inside of the 20 car. That's Adam Walker. Currently the last placed car on track.
Yep.
Oh, and Russell
I tapped the wall again.
scraping the wall coming off turn 2.
I didn't tap it, but I sure as hell burned it trying to keep it off it. My front right is not happy with me right now.
It sounds like Blake's struggling with
Yeah,
right
mine
front
either.
grip.
I don't even think I'll get to you.
So is Russell. So we
I
have
was
5
putting
laps
down
left
times
to
of
run in this
about
race when they
100
come to the
miles
line next time.
West faster than Rachel, but there's no way I'm closing this gap.
So let's go back to focusing in on our leader
But
now.
I think where we are is where we
The
are.
one Miss Rachel
I'm happy with
Hunt.
it.
Yeah, can't complain too much with a top 5.
Let's close up the radio waves again now. Rachel with a 3.3 second gap over Blake. Let's bring up the head-to-head battle bot. have a look at the times as they go through. Every half a lap we get a little bit of an update. And she gained 0.1 of a second over the second place of Blake. Ryan Charles, 2 laps down. Now he's going to be 3 as Rachel dives in underneath him. As we now have the balance of 3 laps left in this race. Only the 1 caution flag in this race. Two laps left to run now for Rachel Hunt. She's been absolutely running away with this race every chance she's gotten. And a reminder, guys, if you want to see a real heartfelt story and something that's really truly inspiring, I strongly suggest you go and read Rachel Hunt's profile here on iRacing. Because the way that she drives with what's going on in her life is absolutely amazing. As she comes across the start-finish line, white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. Rachel has been an absolute class act this entire race, including when the lapped car of Bruce Rivers spun in front of her. Coming out of turn 4 for the final time, the winner of the inaugural USANZ race. It's only a practice race, but it still counts to me. Rachel Hunt in the 16 car. Second place will go to Blake Matez, and third place to Russell Arnold. Gonna wait and see if Rachel will do a little bit of a burnout session here to celebrate her win. As we're going to take the battle bot off the screen now. And here we go. Burn it down, Rachel. There you go. Very nicely done. Alright guys, we're going to go to a commercial break here. When we come back, we should be just about getting ready to have some driver interviews. So stay tuned. Alright, guys, we're back, and we don't quite have our top three in here, so what we do have instead is just our third place getter. We got one of the league owners in Gareth in here, and we've also got the other league owner in Ryan in here as well. So first, we'll start off with Russell. Russell, for you, it was a absolutely awesome race. You and Blake were battling it out quite hard throughout the majority of the race. What was it like for you? And also, what was it like having that one caution towards the center of the race?
Yeah, that whole race was definitely a lot of fun. I think on the first run, I saved tires a little bit better than the 27, but he got me on pretty much every other run after that. We were still really close. Um, that caution came at a pretty good time. Got to give
Anyone
my
in here still?
knee and arms to relax. Uh, but yeah, it was a good race overall. A lot of fun.
All right, now, so you got third overall. We did notice that whenever you got really close to the 27, one or both of you would end up in the turn two wall on the exit. Were you guys just trying to push overly too hard, trying to catch each other, or was it just a case of the setup at the moment this season just feels really tight and you just really couldn't help it too much?
I don't know about for Blake, but for me, I would say it has to be a little bit of both, right? So I'm on his bumper, and with him so close, it just makes me want to get by him. So I push a little bit harder, and that wall coming off of turn two likes to poke out a little bit every once in a while. Um, but yeah, just the longer we get into a run with the tires falling off, it would get a lot tighter, um, and that's part of the reason too.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go here, would you like to give a quick shout out to anyone here tonight?
Yeah, I would like to give a shout out to the Rachel on the win. She did great, and it's just a race.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you for the actual round one next week.
Yes, sir. Sonoma might be a different story for me, but we'll see. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Coming up now is going to be our seventh place getter, the 00 car of the one and only Mr. Gareth Anderson. Gareth, a little bit of strategy from you there towards the end of the race where everyone was making the short stop. You pitted about 14 laps before everyone else. What was the plan? And were you trying to undercut everyone by that much to maybe hope for a quicker caution? Or was that just going to be the long game right from the beginning when you thought about it?
Yeah, thanks, Corey. Yeah, I guess I went for the undercut. If these races and a lot of racing and iRacing, once one caution comes out, cautions breed cautions. So I guess, yeah, I was kind of hoping that they didn't see me pit and got the undercut and the caution came out. But wasn't to be, and these track conditions were changing so much. By the end of it, my tyres were gone, and it was the best thing to do, just let the fast guys pass. So the last thing I was one thing I wanted to do by the end with the last goal was to not get lapped by Rach, but she, awesome win for her, She's one heck of a driver.
She really is, and she put on an absolute masterclass here in this race. Absolutely gapping all of you guys every single chance she got. I think there was only the one period of time where she wasn't in the lead, and that was when you were in the lead. So what was it like leading laps in a league that you helped create?
Yeah, well, I'm just here to have some hard racing, caution laps when you end up racing and you're pacing around for half the race can get a bit, tiring, I suppose. But 80 laps on the first stint, that was that I didn't expect that, and I think Ryan will back me up saying that we've probably got a good pick of drivers for the next 12, 13 weeks. So next week will be interesting. Oval drivers racing on a road track, but we'll see how that goes. But looking forward to it.
All right. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here before we let you go this afternoon, Gareth?
I'll just say thanks to good race for H. It was awesome. Same to all you guys that turned up and raced. Very impressive. Stuck around as well. Even you guys that were laps down. So yeah, I'll just say that. And thanks for broadcasting, Corey. Awesome job, dude.
All right, well, no worries. Thank you very much, Gareth. Thank you for helping to put on the league, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, sounds good, bud.
All right, and coming up next, well, he was going to be coming up next, but it looks like he's disappeared out of the Discord. We were going to have, oh, he's back. Ryan Charles, everybody. Today's 10th place getter, just squeezing into the top 10. Unfortunately, Ryan, not the kind of race that you'd like, going 3 laps down. So what was it like for you, and what was the pace of the field like from your perspective? And it looks like we might have lost Ryan again, maybe? Ryan, do you have a copy? And it looks like we're not going to get any words out of Ryan here. Not sure what's going on. I think he might just have a little bit of an issue. So with that, we are going to close out the broadcast here. Thank you everyone for coming out and supporting the first round of USANZ. Even though it's just a practice round, get everyone warmed up. It was definitely one crack of a race. Congratulations again to Rachel Hunt for taking away an emphatic victory. And we look forward to seeing what these guys can do next week. Again, on the road course of Sonoma Raceway. It should be an interesting race. So until next week, guys, in all your future races, good luck, have fun, and die quietly. And we'll see you guys next week at Sonoma.